Hi. It's Saturday for you. It's 4:20 for me. I don't think I did one last week. No, I was sick. I've been pretty depressed the last couple months. I don't know. Life's weird, but I'm clawing out of it. It's a weird thing. But you got to do what you got to do. And nobody's jumping off cliffs or anything here. So a while back, I think it was January. I don't know, man. I don't even know what day it is. Anyway, it's 4:20. Back in January, I did. Paul Neal had me on his podcast for his 100th episode of the Don't Quit Your Day Job podcast. And me being me, of course, I shut my mouth off about, country music and never having a country artist on here. Well, Paul had a previous guest on there who had listened and got a hold of me, who isn't a country artist, but he says he's like, he definitely has, I think his roots and stuff like that are along the same as all of ours that, watch this and whatnot. But without further ado, Tim Nave. Tim.
How you doing, man?
Good, man. We got it to work. This is what, oh my God, how many times have we tried this?
Well, we tried it for over an hour.
Yeah, right.
Because
I mean, how many days? Oh my God.
this would be, well, I guess we count 4 now. Yesterday, and I know you were very apologetic because I saw on social media that you had the flu or something of that nature. But I literally remembered 10 minutes before I was supposed to be on there. I had a dentist appointment earlier that day, and they had told me that there would be like some mild anesthetics. It looked like I had Bell's palsy, and I was man, I don't want to break this interview again, but man, I'm gonna look really, really stupid on this interview. But,
dude, I swiped down on my phone and saw your messages, and I just got sick. I was like, oh my fucking God, like how many times can I do this to this guy? Well, because the one time is when I got coronavirus too. I was just like, man,
we got sick twice now.
Yeah,
so maybe I'm just one of the plagues.
No, not now, man. We did it. So, are you in Nashville? Did I have that right, or do I have that wrong?
I was in Nashville this weekend, but I'm about. I don't know, for some reason, my whole life when I was in punk bands and metal bands, Nashville seemed really far away, and maybe there was some sort of Mandela effect or something because it's only like 4 hours and 15 minutes from where I live. So
are you in Tennessee?
Yeah, I'm right at the tip of it near Asheville, North Carolina. So okay. I'm almost not in Tennessee.
Oh, gotcha. I have a friend in Knoxville. I think is that a place? Knoxville.
Knoxville's 2 hours west of me. It's like halfway to Nashville, and then Memphis would be your next one.
So I see you're playing out. You got some dates and stuff coming up, right? Or did you play those already? Yeah. I've been trying to keep up with everything, man. Anyway, like you playing country now? Are you just doing do you have a band? Or are you solo? Or are you?
I do mostly solo gigs, and I guess you would call it more like mountain country. It's not quite bluegrass because bluegrass is like what I do, but if you took like amphetamines, it's just really, really sped up. And I have a lot of musicians around. And most of them I source from like the ETSU Bluegrass program because they can all keep up with what I'm doing very easily. And if a place needs a band, I'll bring some real hot shots with me. And if not, I'll just go by myself because that's the easiest way to tour. Because if you don't need anybody else,
Right, and the best moneymaker too.
Yeah, like I feel really mad at all the mad at all like the Marine recruiters and people that told you your whole life there's no money in music, and it's like, I don't know, like I just decided not to do it. But then like Corona was one of the big things that pushed me further into music because I was trying to do real estate, and where I live, there's a combination of no longer wanting to stock cucumbers and tomatoes and shit too. I tried to move into real estate, but as soon as like everybody from I guess Colorado, New Jersey, New York, they started moving here because we never really closed down. So they bought all the houses, so I couldn't flip anything else. So
oh my God, that's pretty wild. I didn't know that at all, man.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to talk to you because I remember on Paul's podcast, you were like, "Man, I don't know, I just left work one day." And I was like, "I just can't do it anymore." And I was like, the tone in your voice, I was like, I felt that.
Yeah,
that's what I was like, I can't keep stocking vegetables. It's so unrewarding and shitty.
Yeah, and I still work there because like my boss and I worked together for like 20 years, and I help out or whatever. But I cook literally for like I think 6 hours a week. But like, dude, for those 6 hours, I feel like I'm in a fucking prison. Like, it's horrible.
It really does make a difference just not having, like, I'm sure like when you're doing that like 40 hours a week versus 6 though is a big like weight off test.
Yeah, but even like now I dread those 6. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I keep talking to you. I was gonna say one of the happiest days of my life was when I got fired from a hot dog stand.
Yeah.
So I didn't realize how badly I wanted to quit until they told me they didn't need me anymore.
Yeah, and sometimes that can be like, I don't know. I got fired from a moving company on my last day. Funny enough, the guy didn't know it was my last day, but he took me back. And my boss was like, "You're an idiot. It's his last day." He's like, "Well, have a good, you know." But uh, like the weight off your shoulders after that, and like I was a manager at a Papa John's one time, man, and they're like, money wasn't going good, and they're like, "Oh, we're gonna have to." I was like, "Okay, well, lay me off." And when they did, man, the pressure was just instantly just, oh my god, the relief.
Yeah,
Like, yeah, jobs can suck.
they really can. Like, I don't really like want to have some kind of inspirational moment, but like somebody like if your job really sucks that bad, I mean, like, is it really worth killing? I mean, like, quite literally just slowly dying every single day for like McDonald's wages. Just it was just horrible. Now I'm doing music probably I don't know what's above 3/4, 5/8 of the time, but I do like some under the table, like uh, I guess what you call home repair work.
Okay.
Because, through the week nobody wants to hear music, so.
Yeah, I know. Uh, like where you're at. It's how's the nightlife there? Is there pretty populated and stuff like that, or is it like pretty country?
Where I'm at right now, it's kind of like just like a cul-de-sac neighborhood, but I was raised out in the mountains. Uh, our nightlife was pretty dead until, like I said, COVID-19, and now a lot of people are coming to Appalachia. So some Bristol, Tennessee / Virginia is really bumping, and Johnson City, Tennessee is doing really well. Uh,
Johnson City. I've heard of that before.
it used to have a really good punk scene back in the
Oh
day.
no.
There's a place called the Hideaway. You could catch a lot of really cool bands there.
Oh yeah. And you said you used to be in punk bands.
That's where I got my start. Well, I guess like praise and worship would be more my start, but like I guess my exit from like religious music was through Christian praise, like Christian punk rock.
No kidding.
So like, I think like the very first non-religious punk band I found that I really clicked with was No Use for a Name, because
Yeah,
they
dude.
were pretty tame, but their lyrics were more real than what I was listening to at the
Dude,
time. So, like,
Tony's probably one of the best lyricists ever. You know what I mean? Like, in my opinion, anyway, he was like
yeah,
he could write a fucking song.
it was just honest. Like you could really feel what he was saying. It really broke my heart the day he died. I was like, man, I hadn't. I think I got to see them maybe once, just because where I'm located, nobody ever comes here.
That's like here too. Yeah, I never got to see them actually. Up until about 2014 or 2013, it was like it took me 15 years to see Pennywise. Now since then, I've seen them I think 7 times, but I mean, it just nobody came around here.
Yeah,
And even Pittsburgh, it was just like I don't know. I guess too, like the scene was kind of dead from like 2000 to 2010, like that kind of punk anyway, because emo and all that shit was taken over. And that
oh
wasn't,
yeah.
yeah, I wasn't real big into that stuff.
I didn't do the emo thing. I was briefly into like I don't know. There was like some bands that wanted to be more melodic, and they kind of got adopted into the screamo genre. Like nobody, I don't think anybody really wanted to be in screamo, but if you were anything that wasn't four chord punk or emo, like you were just kind of slated as screamo. I remember watching the guy from Thursday being real pissed off that he didn't want that label.
Yeah, and I
It
mean,
sounds pretty screamo, you know.
yeah, and like it was a shitty label to live with, you know what I mean? Because there was a lot of
Mhm.
people who are like, I'm not listening to that whatsoever.
Yeah, like
Um,
a dubstep label or something. It just makes it sound bad before you even listen to it.
so how long have you been doing this?
What about bar music or just music in general?
Just bar music.
This would be probably year 3
Year
of just
three.
of just
So
doing
you're
something.
just
But
so COVID-19, you really just got up and said you're doing this, huh?
yeah, like the year before COVID hit, maybe year and a half, the year before COVID hit, I'd already decided that because I got paid to pay. Got paid like $50 to play for like some kind of housewarming thing, and it was like the easiest thing ever. And people kept complimenting me for not a good gig, and it just clicked. I was like, holy shit! If I just like honed this even a little bit, I could keep doing it. And now I can make, because I mean, like everybody's worked these like awful jobs, and once I learned I could make enough money on the weekends to where I didn't have to work those other days. I think the biggest problem for people to get past it, other than the preparation of learning a lot of music they don't really want to play, is the idea of like letting go of the 5-day work week. Like that really is a huge anxiety builder, because you're like, oh, no health insurance, like what if my teeth rot out, like it really
Yeah.
puts the weight on your chest, and I don't think that's necessary if you just do it correctly.
Right, and even me, man, like with the, saying I still put a couple hours in the week in a restaurant, like it's still, in a sense, it's my safety net. You know what I mean? Like I'm still,
Mhm.
still entirely afraid to step completely away, but eventually I will. I think, I hope. That's
Yeah,
the goal.
I think you could. Like, I think if you just stick at something long enough, it eventually click. It eventually click because right now it's not like I'm not rolling in money or anything, but I'm sure as hell surprised people keep calling me back because I'm like, see, I don't know, like maybe like I said, the recruiters hoodooed me a little too hard, and they're
Yeah.
thinking that there's just no money in music, but there's a little bit if you look at it hard enough.
Well, dude, I'm the same way with screen printing. Like it's been a couple, the last 2 months, but it's a dead time of the year. Like I get that, you know what I mean? So it's just kind of weathering the storm for the first year. But my dad also, he told me when I started screen printing, he's like, you're never going to make money off screen printing for bands. And I'm like, that's pretty much all I've done, man.
Has it taken off really good?
Yeah, man. Yeah, yeah. They're calling me back. You know what I mean? And yeah, it's been pretty cool, man. And like I said, I'm not one to just dive into something and be like, all right, I'm learning this. But man, I was just fucking hell bent on learning that for some reason, and I don't even know what it was, but I had to do it.
I feel like I don't know, not to get like I don't even want to use the word like oh, it's spiritual or something. I feel like something happened a couple of years ago where a bunch of people just clicked like auto mode, like where they're just like, I'm fucking done. And they're like, 'cause there's a bunch of us running around out there where we're just like, I can't do this beehive shit anymore. Even if
Yeah,
I'm not making hardly any money at all, I'd rather go do this other thing that I at least like.
yeah, or
I
at
don't know.
least have
I
my
keep hearing that story.
yeah, and like the whole like even just somebody telling me when my days off are or when what I mean, what time is my free time. Like I just can't even like I can't fathom that right now. Like what I mean, for a 40-hour week job, like no, like fuck no, you're not telling me. Like and like you said, I'd rather sit there and be broke on my time than fucking have money on somebody else's.
Yeah. I don't know.
Sad-
Like maladaptive maybe, but I mean,
yeah,
that's my sentiment too. Like I just, and maybe it is like just decades of working with people that, I don't know, because like low level jobs, like maybe like grocery stores and fast food, like a lot of times it's just like people who stay there the longest. And it's like, I don't know, it's like people who gave into the system long enough where there's like, well, I guess I'm going to manage a McDonald's or whatever. So not all the time, but a lot of times the people that make it like halfway up the food chain are just unbearably stupid to be around because they're order followers. And at some point, when I have to look around and go, maybe I'm wrong and I just need to stay away from society on some level because I can't just keep getting in fights with people.
I know, dude. I know. I mean, I don't get like physical altercations, but I got a big fucking mouth all the time, and I cannot shut it. Like it's just constant.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
but
just,
I have to say it. Like it hurts me not to say things sometimes.
I've had to learn not to because
And
people are getting crazier. People are getting more on my level.
yeah, and I know, and my level's not a good level. Not in that situation, anyway. So like as far as I don't know, I was gonna ask, like, are you touring out of state? Like, or do you just stay in state? Do you?
I don't know if you'd consider it touring because it's not like for weeks at a time. But yeah, I go out of state. I'm in Virginia and Georgia quite a bit this year, and North Carolina. But like I
So you're hitting a
said,
couple states.
where I'm at though, I can be in either state. Probably 20 minutes from where I'm at. Like it's not
No
like I'm right
shit.
at the very very tip top of Tennessee. Like if you imagine Tennessee looks like a little knife.
Oh yeah, yeah, okay, okay.
Way up
'Cause-
from the very tip top.
so if you looked at Pennsylvania down on a map and pointed at the exact dead center, that's
hmm
where I'm at. So no matter where we go, it's fucking 3 hours to even get out of Pennsylvania. like, like no matter
It's
which way.
not square like it's like a
Yeah.
Pennsylvania.
But yeah, man, I'm in a fucking rectangle and I'm dead center in the middle with nothing going on. It sucks.
Is there not like a music scene at all where you guys are at?
See,
I've listened to quite a few of your episodes, and it's I guess where you've got people talking to you from everywhere.
yeah,
It's
mostly
kind of
Pittsburgh.
like your days like.
Yeah, Pittsburgh's definitely the closest, you know what I mean? And the York scene, I've definitely picked up with those guys. But like, as far as like when I was growing up, there was a metal scene here, there was a punk scene, there was, you know what I mean? That's how I got started. I was playing in a bar when I was 15. It was great. And then everything just kind of died off. And there's like, there ain't jack shit here. Hell, Penn State main campus is, I want to say, 20 miles from here. And there's not even a fucking place for like local bands to play. Like, unless you're a cover band, of course, you know what I mean? Like there's no original music, nothing. Like it just sucks.
Yeah,
I can only hear Living on a Prayer so many fucking times, man.
I don't do that, thankfully. I can't pull the key change off, so I refuse. I don't have any Bon Jovi. I do have quite a few cover songs that I don't enjoy, but I
The
don't know.
crowd.
I don't know. I'm hoping in a couple of years I can work into where I'm doing mostly originals. But until then, this is better than it's a whole hell of a lot better than anything else I was doing. So I cannot complain.
No, man, and absolutely. What I mean, like, hell, my band, other than me, are all from New Jersey. So, like, when we played last last weekend, yeah, I forgot all about that. Anyway, we played last weekend in Pittsburgh for our first gig. Like, it was all covers, just because fucking, you know what I mean? It was like, hey, we have 2 weeks to fucking play. Like, let's learn this, learn this, learn this, and I'll see you there. And that's what you do, and you go from there.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how I learned anyway. Like, I'm still horrible at writing music, though, man. I fucking just, I don't know, I'm just not good at it.
I mean, well, are you not good at it because you think you're not good at it, or
Yeah, that's
you know,
definitely part of it. You know what I mean? Part of, yeah. I'm my own worst enemy in so many cases.
you could just have like a really bad, like chronic case of writer's block? Because I think people think writer's block you don't write, but writer's block you write all the time. You just think 100% of it sucks, and it makes you mad. And I've come across people that don't like quite a few musicians who have like original stuff that they're really embarrassed to show that I thought had some pretty cool stuff to it. So
Yeah, because
maybe
there was my guitarist Vinny, he's a producer and stuff too. But like I had all these bass riffs, you know what I mean, or bass lines that I'd written, and like they're just simple punk, you know what I mean, whatever. But I'm like, I'm gonna send you these, and I'm like, but if they suck, like just don't even tell me they suck. Just be like, hey man, we can't use those because like I don't want to hear it. You know what I mean? I was like because I didn't really share them with anybody else, and man, they're probably I've probably had some of them for 5-10 years now, you know.
is the intro to the show yours?
No, that was I don't even know who did that. The outro, I know it was the dude from Fourth in Line, Eric Butau.
Okay.
He plays
Yeah.
in Jughead's Revenge too, and then he fills in for Guttermouth too sometimes.
Oh, really? That's cool.
Yeah. He was like, when I started this, he was like, I found him on the internet, and I was like, listen, man, I need some fucking music and blah blah blah. And he's just like, he called me, and we bullshitted about Lagwagon and RKL one night for like an hour and a half, and he's like, oh dude, you seem cool. He's like, send me all these files and shit, and I was like, fucking hey.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the new song, that dude from Spain that I had on Emilio, he fucking wrote all that, man. He booked time in his own studio to write that. And I was like, I don't need it right away. The fucker had it done in like a week.
Well,
Yeah, he's a good guy.
the bass line that you, the diddle one that you've got,
Oh yeah,
do you ever have a band called Slick Shoes by any chance?
I've not.
Well, off air, like look up a song called Angel by a band called Slick Shoes, and it's a really cool bass line. I think you probably appreciate. It's like the song's like 2 minutes long, maybe. But
Okay, yeah, I appreciate that already.
that faster sort of wah punk at one point,
Yeah, no, dude, that's like I don't know. Growing up, we were like metal was always a big thing around here. Everybody, I kind of had like hide punk for a while. You know what I mean? Because it was all metal, and I was like, okay. But I just remember like I don't know. I don't even know what I was getting at there. I lost it. I spaced out. It's 420.
Yeah.
You said that, and I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah. Our metal scene around here was really good for a minute, and but it was brought on by the punk scene. Johnson City was kind of like a halfway point for a lot of bands, like not really punk. I know the word punk kind of got lost at some point for what was acceptable to be called punk, but there was a lot of bands like Amberlin, Under Oath, Andrew WK, people like that would stop in Johnson City at little or smaller clubs on their way to bigger and better places, and
Yeah.
so it really kind of made a scene that really kind of got hyper, or like almost like artificially influenced or injected with some creativity. And the only reason it happened is because we had some local guys in a band they were a punk band called 2540 that later, when they went to metal, because they realized metal was where it was going out in this area, so they were kind of ahead of the curve. They were called the Showdown, and they went to Florida and brought a bunch of those bands here. So that's kind of the background for what pulled me out of my praise and worship era.
Oh,
But
okay.
it's really cool to watch those bands come here.
Yeah. So you like you started out with just like praise and worship music.
Well, yeah, it was in church. That's
Yeah.
the best way. It was praise and worship, but it was praise and worship before it was on the radio. So it was way more Jim Jonesy.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
So punk was the obvious direction for me to go to because it was extreme conformity to, hey, it's pretty cool when you yell and smear shit on his chest.
I always just said it's the best way, like, I don't know, to be yourself, man. Like, that's the punkest thing in the world to do is just be yourself, you know?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's why I think I gravitated toward. Oh, that's what I was getting at. Like just the metal about it being positive. The metal is always just like it's angry, most of the time. And I was,
Yeah.
I'm still depressed now most of the time, but like it was bad then. And my buddy's like, dude, listen to what you're listening to. He's like, no wonder. And then punk just still has that same energy, the same, you know what I mean, as the metal does, but it's a lot
Mhm.
more positive.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Yeah,
Um, I'm not real sure how to put that mindset in and because there was like I don't want to say that's completely true because
for
there's like
sure, man.
positive metal. Like I really appreciated like Kill Switch Engage back in the day and stuff. But at the same time, there was a lot of that almost like false positivity that kind of got injected to that scene where like the singer midway through the set would start talking to the crowd like he was a youth pastor or something, but he had nowhere to go with it because they weren't Christians. So it's just like, hey, don't kill yourself or something. So it's really weird to watch everybody has false positivity. It's kind of icky, you know.
Yeah. Jello from the Dead Kennedys. I saw his Jello, whatever, and Guantanamo School Bay of Medicine, whatever the fuck it was. But I remember I watched 2 songs. I'm like, okay, these guys aren't bad. He started on one of his rants, dude. I just turned around and walked the fuck out. I'm like, I can't. Like, I'm not politics. Like, I don't. I'm like, no. But I'm like,
Yeah,
thanks for ruining that for me.
yeah. There's something. I don't know. Maybe it's because I was raised in churchy stuff. So like the music was really cool to me, and all of a sudden God would get in the way. The music had to stop, and we had to listen to this like a boring guy talk about scripture and stuff. And it's kind of the same way when I'm at a metal show. We're beating the hell out of each other and stuff, and all of a sudden we have to stop while this guy tells us to not do anything negative when we get home, and that if we believe in ourselves, we can do anything. It's like everybody's having this like Fresh Prince of Bel Air moment where we don't want to call the guy lame because we've been sitting here hero worshiping him for an hour. But I don't know. It's like you're not, I guess, like emotionally mature enough to. I don't know. I
Yeah,
just don't
no,
like
I know. So like, I gotta ask, are you still a churchgoer and stuff like that?
I don't want to be, but I feel like there's something pulling me back to it because I feel like I missed something. As
Gotcha.
bad as that sounds like.
It's not bad. Like I don't. I always think it's good to have like you know what I mean, faith in something, believe in something. You know what I mean, regardless of what it is. If it helps you, then
Maybe.
fucking
Yeah. Kind of like I don't really have a good analogy for it, but I felt like the version of it that I got was so perverted and corrupted that I didn't have a fair chance at giving it a fair shake. Right? I see a lot of people they had a really good experience from church or religion or whatever you want to call it. It gives them sort of a almost like an invisible crutch to lean on when they really need it because you need it because sometimes the shit's really really real and you kind of just have to look at it right in the face. And if you have like an invisible friend or something you can kind of hold on to, I could see the benefit of that. And
yeah,
I don't know, I think I got rid of all of it in an attempt to find balance. And now I'm coming hard back on that direction because I felt like I had to miss something.
yeah. It's so interesting. Like my buddy Brian, because I'm not a churchgoer. My buddy Brian's not either. But his wife and her family are very, you know what I mean, and still are. And it's just like I watch what it does for her at times. You know what I mean, like bad situations and stuff. And it's like, wow, man, like that's pretty cool.
Hmm.
It makes me wonder.
Sorry.
No, I just said it makes me wonder at times, man. Because like I don't know, the version I got wasn't the greatest either.
Yeah. I think what I guess kind of started like the pull for me to come back into religious stuff. Like I got really big into Eastern mysticism and philosophy and stuff. Just kind of like the idea of since I was allowed to not look at one religious text, I was now suddenly allowed to read everything. It's like, oh, some evil Crowley shit. I'm definitely gonna read that. And they made Republicans all afraid of Islamic people. So I read through the Quran a couple of times. So and along the way, you start discovering that they're all kind of saying the same thing with some, and it's like, hold
Yeah,
on a second, they're all kind of saying the same thing, just with like the real nitpicky parts, like shave your beard this way, and you're allowed to do this with cattle. But it's all real similar. Don't kill each other and stuff.
yeah. Basically, be a good human.
And then when I went to college briefly for a minute, because I wanted to go well, I have like 4 degrees that are 3/4 of the way cooked. I just kept giving up on them because I realized I didn't want to do them. And the last one, I was in psychology, and I met a couple of people when I was there that introduced me to some of the harder psychedelics.
Yeah,
And like that, like I'm sure, like anybody that's tried, I don't want to like sit here and stroke the psychedelics the way the culture's been doing it for the last 10 years. And
I will. I love them.
I love them too, but like I really feel like I almost appreciate them so much. I want to like start slapping people that talk about them that I don't like. It's like you get that name out of your mouth. You don't appreciate the experience. Like how arrogant you are still. But it did a lot for me in a lot of ways. Those sorts of experiences allow me to kind of see how it all kind of is connected, and maybe I don't know what it's all about, you know. So
Right.
trying to give a chance, you know.
Yeah, it was always like a reset. It's a reset to me too. You know what I mean? Like it just. Yeah, like it just gets everything gets back into place, you know what I mean? And I'm just like, all right, let's fucking, and like, I don't know, the problems, even if you're mad or, you know what I mean, you can't figure something out, I feel like you do that and like, you'll start coming at that problem at a different angle, in a different way, you know what I mean? And you're like, you think through different ways to go about it rather than the way you were just trying to steamroll through it before. And then you end up usually tackling the problem and, you know what I mean?
It's almost like when you're, I don't know, like it's almost like you're fighting, like if you're swimming beside a boat and the weight keeps pulling you.
Yeah.
And like psychedelics are like, hey, stupid, and it just like turns you around and shows you could just swim with the boat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Honestly, like I really, if I'm being honest, like man, I need to talk to God at some point. I haven't done like the what they call it, the heroic dose in a really long time. And I feel like I really desperately need to do it because I know there's a lot of stupid shit clinging on to me right now that I could really probably just get rid of. If I can push that button that I don't have access to, you know.
Right. There was probably about a year and a half ago, man. There was Bernie Sanders they had on him, but fucking dude, I was looking up and like I was literally like having to look down at the ground because it was so fucking like tremendous for me. I was looking at the sky, I was like, oh my god, you know, like it was the best one I've had in a long time.
Yeah.
But dude, it was like 16 hours. It was ridiculous. Like I went home and shit's still coming out of the walls, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
What was the substance, if you don't mind me asking?
Oh, it was blotter. Blotter acid. Blotter acid. Yeah, they had Bernie Sanders on him, but Bernie Sanders was wearing like different masks. Like he had fucking Captain America's mask, and he had all kinds of shit. But yeah, that's what we did out in Vegas too. That was something. But yeah, that was the first time in Vegas too. That place is pretty cool. You ever been there?
I've been to Vegas more times than I don't know why I've been there so many times because I don't really ever spend a lot of time in Vegas. It's just like I love the desert because you can go to Death Valley, you can go to the Grand Canyon, was it the Stripe thingy out in Arizona. I really like the desert. It's almost like there's a frequency everywhere out here, especially out here on the Craton where we're at, you know. And the further out west you go, that it almost dies away. Like I used to think it was really bad tinnitus, but I swear to God, when you go out in Colorado, you don't hear anything. And I'm not sure what that is.
No, I know you say that. Like it's kind of here too, and like the dry heat compared to like the fucking the mess that's in Pennsylvania, like the moist and just I hate it. Like it's everything's humidity. Like fucking, I could have like I remember waking up and it was like 98 degrees outside, and I'm like, son of a bitch, dude, it's gonna be hot. And I walked outside and I'm like, this ain't shit, you know what I mean? When it's not 100% humidity.
Yeah. And then what I didn't expect was the cold was the same way because we went hiking in Colorado. We've been hiking in Colorado a bunch. But the very first time we went, I think it's like 2 feet of snow, and I was sweating my ass off. I was like taking my coat off, and I realized I was hiking in short sleeves and just pair of pants. And it's because it was, I think it was like 30 degrees, but there's zero humidity at that point. It was all on the ground. And so when you're hiking up a giant ass hill, you're going to start sweating your ass off. And I was like, man, you would probably die in this back in Tennessee because it would just be so cold.
Yeah. The humidity's bad there too, right?
I'd say it's probably about the same as yours.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. Yeah, because I think it's bad here. Like I think it's I fucking hate it.
Here, like probably up here and there, I think we get about the same weather. It rains at least 3 times a week here, spring and summer.
Yeah, same here. We just had a fucking snowstorm 2 days ago.
It was a rainstorm here, so
yeah. Well, there's not a lick of snow on the ground now. It's like 55 degrees. Yeah,
70 here. So
70. Damn.
But if you keep going, it gets a whole hell of a lot hotter with like Georgia and Florida and stuff. So I think this is about far south I'm going to go. I might go further west at some point in my age, but I don't think I want to go south.
No, I have a cousin that works in Disney World, so we've been down there a few times, and oh my god, dude, there's just no way. There's no way.
I couldn't do it every day.
No
I can do
way.
it for a week, but it's just too much.
Yeah, there's guys that work construction and shit. I'm like, I don't even know how you fucking do that because they're just, I couldn't.
Oh hell no.
Like in
Uh,
jeans and I'm like, fucking A.
when you were oh hell, I had a question. It was relevant. Oh, when you played in the country bands and stuff, I remember one
Yeah.
of them you said you said that one problem with it was the extreme lack of energy. Like you were just so bored because nobody ever wanted to do anything. And
Yeah.
what was the other one? Hell, I don't remember what the other one was.
Oh, the other one was, the lead singer. I couldn't wear, like, I couldn't dress better than him. That was one of them. And just, I couldn't like, I didn't like the songs because most of them were covers too.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, we did one whole set of just Jason Aldean songs because this dude was like obsessed with Jason Aldean, and I'm like, fucking A, man. Like I can only take so much.
Is this where you, was this where you live?
Yeah, yeah. This is what we were like State College's #1 country band for a while. So we were State College, yada yada. Yeah, whatever that
It
means.
was successful then, though, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
So,
definitely.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. For some reason, like I mean, I'm from basically where rednecks grow, but for some reason, like people love it everywhere. So
Yeah, dude,
uh,
that was the first time I played out of state or anything. We played up in Massachusetts and fucking we packed a house in Massachusetts. You know what I mean? We knew who the fuck we were, but yeah. So like, I think it sold out. To be honest with you, it was just like,
yeah.
yeah, it was crazy. And it was actually I got to play with one of the dudes from the Monkees.
Oh, really?
Yeah, somehow my guitarist dude knew him, and fucking he came up and played a few songs with us. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool, you know. I guess.
Random gifts of life.
Right, right. The best gift though is I don't know when I'm playing and seeing people out there moving and shit like that's fucking cool as shit. I don't know. There's not a better feeling.
Yeah, I guess that's kind of. I was worried when I transitioned from. I guess you wouldn't really call it a transition because I went the whole period where I just straight up wasn't playing music at all, and decided I was going to like folk, grass, country, whatever you could call it, and specifically just because that was one of the genres I was always told that was like hayseed music. Only dumb people listen to it, and so I never was able to appreciate it. So when I decided I was going to do it, but I was going to do it sort of in a way that I could entertain myself. You know, that way if it was just me with one guitar, I'd never have to worry about the drummer being sick or the drummer being too high to play or the drummer stealing $500 from the account without telling you or whatever it seems like.
Yeah,
Um,
it is.
it doesn't seem like.
Yeah,
Uh, but there was something about it that like have you ever been down to Nashville?
I haven't.
Okay, well if you go to Nashville, that Jason Aldean thing gets you involved in, probably would have cleaned up shit. Like they're like the Taco Bell has live music there every
Oh,
day.
no shit.
There's just, I mean, like it's literally just musicians working their ass off every day. And I forgot all about it until I was there this weekend. I played the Hard Rock, and I was laughing when I saw the people in there jamming at the Taco Bell. And there's literally just musicians everywhere. It's ridiculous. And but yeah, it's so funny though because it is that Jason Aldean stuff, and so where you could play it every day, it would. I can't do that. Like, so a lot of my stuff does not lean into the mainstream country. I lean way more into like Merle Haggard and Johnny Cash, and I do some Jason Isbell, Fleetwood Mac. Well, it's not country, but just the stuff I feel like people can relate to, but stuff I don't feel like. I just feel like everybody else is doing it. There's like 500 people playing a Jason Aldean cover or a Luke Combs cover right now, and it's like probably doing it better than me. So let's find something else that somebody can listen. I feel like I'm giving them a break actually from having to listen to that. You know?
You are. You totally are, and you're playing the good country. Like yeah, because I love Cash, Haggard, all that stuff.
And like if you had gotten a hold of like some people that were playing more like Merle Haggard and stuff, do you think you could have hung with it? Because the people that are playing that with me, they're way easier to hang out with.
Yeah, man, because like I remember even playing out. There was times we covered, we did Folsom Prison. I even got him to do a Mellencamp song, that Rain on the Scarecrow song, and stuff like that. Stuff like that, I fucking enjoyed. We did Lagrange by ZZ Top, but like shit like that, dude, I had a blast. But just that Aldean fucking stuff that there's that mainstream country. I just do not like it. Like I just,
Yeah,
yeah, I don't know what it is, but it's just not. It's not for me.
yeah. I mean, it's just soulless. That's why I think the reason, probably the same reason you can do it, and the same reason because I don't really think I have any. I don't think I have any like bro country songs. I don't think I have a single one. and it's for the same reason that it's so artificial that like I feel like it's gonna put like a bad taste in my mouth. Maybe when it's a couple of years older and I can do it like a little bit ironically, like a Rick roll or something, I'll be able to do it. But yeah,
Yeah,
so there's some fair sentiment there in that.
yeah, I always picture like, okay, so my cousin, he's kind of like a big redneck, you know what I mean? He's a big dude. But like when I hear an Aldean song, and I ain't saying this, but this is what I always picture in my head is like him and his homies, like, bare chested, hidden by a fire, pouring booze over each other, chest bumping is kind of what like I picture while these songs are going on. And I'm just like, man, that'd be so lame. I don't want to do that. So I just,
Yeah.
but I don't know why him, but he's always like the main character in this thing in my head. I'm just like, oh my God, like him and his buddies are out there shirtless, just chest bumping to these songs. And I'm like, that's so lame, man.
Good reference.
Yeah, my cousin's probably watching this being like, you asshole.
I don't know, man. Redneck's pretty universal. And I just think that mainstream redneck is just funny to me. Sort of the same way there's mainstream punk too.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And your mainstream punk. Let's not be. I just think it's funny that that there's people that are trying to do like I don't know, like artificial John Prine. Where it just comes across as so completely fake, and people still buy it. So like I don't know, that almost makes me feel good about it because it's like, well, they don't know artificial.
Yeah, I've just come
Maybe
along.
all failed projects weren't so bad after all.
I've just I've just realized that like, people just are spoon fed a lot of shit, and they just don't, you know what I mean? They don't really search for anything else. Like they just, okay, that's what's playing. That's what we like. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, that's very true. Like if whatever's playing, that's what people
yeah.
go
If it's
with.
on the radio, like, oh, that's what we like, and it's just like, man, no way, no way.
Yeah, I think. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I don't have a podcast. I can ask you. I can ask people. So may I ask you? Like, do you think mainstream music is why everybody thinks the next generation's music suck? Because like music doesn't suck. Like you can find plenty of really good stuff. Like I think you probably know plenty of good bands that I've never heard of that you spend all the time. But at the same time, we'll keep saying that music sucks, and I think maybe we need to change that to just mainstream music always sucks.
Yeah. Do you know what I think it is? I think it's music's just acts like nostalgia. So what you grew up listening to and whatnot is what you love. You know what I mean? So when that next generation comes on, what they grew up, you know what I mean? And like it just continues that way. But I don't know. I find myself more so than not going back to the music I was listening to in junior high and fucking high school and stuff like that. And like those bands never left me.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. I'm
Yeah,
trying not to do that. I feel like it's almost what's the word, like toxically nostalgic or something.
yeah.
I don't know. I overthink things, I guess. But
I just think always people are searching for that nostalgia. You know what I mean? You always want to feel that again. And I just, as weird as that is, but
no, that makes a whole lot of sense. I guess the bad thing is it makes you misremember things, makes you think things were really good and they weren't. They were terrible.
yeah, very easily too. There's a Real Big Fish song, even real quick. He was basically saying, I remember back in '95, everything was, the best time of my life. He's like, but in 15 years from now, I'm probably gonna remember this time as the best time of my fucking life. You know what I mean? And you glamorize things like your past. I think everybody does.
Oh, certainly.
Yeah.
Well, glamorize it and dramatize it too.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's for another episode.
Oh yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah. Well, where can we find your music at, man? Do you have like streaming platforms?
It's on all the streaming platforms, but it's not Tim Nave. It would be the artist known as Tim. If you just people don't feel like typing that in, do the artist known as Tim.com, and all the links are on the pages and stuff in there.
Okay. Well, dude,
There's
I want
a lot of Tim Naves out there, and I was like, well, let's just nip this in the bud right now.
Yeah, no, and I like that, like fucking Prince reference. Like, yeah, I dig it. But dude,
Well, it's
thanks
also kind of a pretentious movement because that's like a lot of like I think even Michelle Obama was one of the ones that was quoted that bluegrass and folk music isn't really art. And I was like, well, I disagree with that heavily because I think 80s hip hop was essentially folk music because folk music is making music with minimalism and they were just using like a Roland 808,
Yeah. Well, dude, that's a cool way to look at it. I never thought of that's brilliant. But dude, thanks for coming on. Thank you for sticking with me. Thank you for putting up with my stupidness for the last 2 months and my sickness. And yeah, this was fun. I got to ask quick, how do you know Paul Neal?
During the pandemic, I kind of got sick of hearing people talk about the coronavirus. And I started looking for really small like little tiny subcultures of like genres. And like you were talking about nostalgia, I just really like punk music, and there's really not one around here. So I just started looking through other punk stuff. And I think I found a podcast where he had interviewed, I want to say it was Joe Queer is the first one I found that he interviewed. And then I remember it's not punk really, but he done the guy from Cowboy Mouth. And I don't know, I just started listening to his podcast, and I was like, well, I want to send him my music, see what he thinks about aging hillbillies that used to like punk rock music. And we just started talking through social media.
Yeah,
and
he's a great guy.
After I saw him, after I saw you on his podcast, I was like, well, I want to know this guy too. He seems cool too.
Yeah. Well, I was going to tell you, man, you seem cool as shit too. So keep in touch. Like, you know what I mean?
Sure,
all right, dude. Thanks for coming on. We'll talk soon.
Sure thing.
All right. Take care, man.
See you, man.
See you, man. That was Tim Nave. Go check out his music. The artist formerly known as Tim. Don't forget, we had Brandon on here 2 weeks ago. Hell is Ohio, Camp Pennsylvania. All kinds of shit happened. The Four Chord Festival out of Pittsburgh just fucking released a fucking banger lineup, dude. Like Bad Religion, Descendants, Pennywise, like fucking Lagwagon, all kinds of shit. Anyway, thanks. Yeah, by the way, and our gig went really well at Porky's too. Well, not really well, but as good as fucking we played punk rock. It was. It is what it is. We had a great time. Thanks to the Snip and Coffee Lines, John's the Whiskey, Steel City Destroyers, all those people for hooking us up. Until next time, buy the ticket, take the ride. We're out of here.